Hi, welcome to my mind map and video. I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about some of these branches. We're talking about routers and switches, the mode, VTY lines, features, physical connections, remote configuration, and security. Common router and switch commands, it's a bad name, so we're going to ignore that. Let's talk about the modes. It's very important that you know your modes. User privilege enabled, basic privilege and enable are basically the same. Global config mode, there's a big difference between these three. You have to be very familiar, and there are other modes, but these are the main modes. So of course knowing the right command is very important, but just as important is being in the right mode. Now this mind map is a very basic overview of some of these concepts. That's because when I made this mind map, my knowledge was very basic. It was still very basic. So privilege mode, it's recommended that you protect your device with the privilege mode password. Okay, enable secret. It's encrypted password, not very strong, but it's better than nothing, because enabled mode, you can do a lot of damage to your device, to a network. So password protected, make it strong. Now VTY lines, there are 0 to 4 VTY lines. You can the VTY line is basically a way to get into your router. Okay, you can get into it with a phone line, with an Ethernet connection, a console connection. Okay, your device has all these different ports on it so that you can get into it. Telnet, using a phone line or through your Ethernet is very common. Okay, except that Telnet is no good because everything is in plain text, including your username and password. So a lot of initial configuration has to happen through the console connection, because a fresh unit out of the box, you have to make initial configurations using a direct console connection with a rollover cable. Better have extra cables. Now a VTY line can be any kind of remote connection. It can even be a plain old telephone connection. But anytime you're going to connect remotely from a network outside the local area network, you're going to have to put a password on the VTY line. Otherwise you won't be able to get in. If you don't set a password, if it's a brand new device, password has never been set, and you need to dial in remotely to troubleshoot, you're not going to be able to get in. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation. You're going to go ahead and set up the password for the VTY lines. Now this branch, I made a sub-branch called Telnet stacking. And I've got to remember what that is. Telnet stacking, you're able to telnet to a switch or router, okay, to configure it. Now from within that router, you are able to telnet to another router or switch. And once you get there, if you really want to, you're able to telnet from there to another router or switch. Now if you want to connect to your device physically, meaning you're physically in the presence of the device, you can do this with a console cable. It's a baby blue cable that comes with your device. And you can buy a cable from Cisco, but you're going to pay a lot more than you should. You can get one on eBay for cheap. Just watch the shipping cost. Also, you can use a hyperterminal once you've made the physical connection. Auxiliary port, only routers have an auxiliary port, and this allows you to physically connect a modem to your router. So you need to remotely connect to the router to configure it, troubleshoot it, and everything fails, then you can use the telephone system. The telephone system is very redundant. And if you had the hindsight to connect a modem and you have a live telephone line connected, this is kind of rare actually nowadays, you can get in with the telephone line and a modem to configure your router. Now quickly to review remote configuration, it's better to use SSH. You have to set the password for the VTY line, and it's a great first step in troubleshooting. If you're away from the office and you're on call, you can remote to the device, be it this router or the switch. Start your troubleshooting process before you come into the office. That's my mind map and short, sweet video. I hope it was informative. Thanks for watching.